want you guys to be engaged-ish. So we're going to do something just to start, okay? Everybody just take a breath, go in, and then go, ooh. One more time. Ooh. Great. I used to be in university back in the day, not too long ago. I know I look a little old. And, it was an emergency one night. I used to bike to go get my groceries. Anybody bike? Wow, a lot of poor people here. I'm kidding. So I used to bike to get my groceries, and it was one of those days. It was an emergency. It was exam season, run out of crackers kind of situation. Anybody relate? Yeah? Oh, wow, really? Oh, cool. Okay, good to know. And so I get to the grocery store, and I come in, and I lock up my bike, and I run inside, and I grab all the crackers I can grab, and I go to the conveyor belt, put it on, and she takes it out for me. But the situation was that, I had forgotten my backpack. And I was riding one of these rinkety-dinkety kind of bikes that didn't have a basket. I'm not one of those slick racers you see on the roads these days. So I didn't know what to do. So the lady gave me one of those big bags. You seen one of those big bags, plastic bags? And they're really, really big. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to take this, no problem. So I grab it, and I'm excited to go get my crackers and eat them at home. So I get outside, and then I realize, how am I going to carry this? So I said, okay, well, I can't put it on the handlebar. Sometimes I do that, but then it's too big, and I'm going to have to ride like this. So I thought, okay, maybe I'll just put it on as a backpack. It's got two handles, so I put it on. So I was like, okay, yeah, this is an interesting solution. It'll work. But the thing is, when you sit on your bike, this thing is so big. It's kind of like a big lumpy thing behind you like this. So if you can visualize it, it kind of looked like maybe like a bike diaper or something. Like the first prototype of a bike diaper that you got to keep your goodies with you. It was not the best thing ever looking. And my hair at the time was really long, and it was curly. And I was wearing a baggy hoodie, and it had crackers from yesterday's fiesta all over it. And and we're joking now, but at that moment I saw in the glass pane that was beside me, I saw my reflection. And I remember at that moment I took in the way I looked, and I felt immediately my mind started thinking. I said, you actually look kind of hideous. You don't look very nice, and you kind of look poor. And you look dirty, and you look unattractive. Why did you make this decision to come out today? Why did you choose to wear these clothes? Why do you always make bad decisions? You're so stupid. You're so ugly. And my mind just went in, and I completely let go of where I was. And I just hopped on my bike. I'm like, okay, I'm going to get home. So I get on my bike, and I'm riding. And if you've been on the streets here, you'll see there's sidewalks, exam season, they're full of students. So there's students everywhere, and I grab my hair, and I cover my face, just so that I feel like I can't be seen. And I'm riding along, and oh man, everybody's gonna see me, and they're gonna see how not great I look. They're gonna think I'm poor. No one's gonna like me. I knew I shouldn't be in university. I'm not meant to be here. This isn't the right moment. And then I stop, and I'm drawn back into the moment because I was at a red light. My hair was covering my face, but through a slit in my hair, I could see there was a screen, an ad on a bus sign, and one of those digital ads. Maybe you guys have seen those before. And it said something that I'll never forget. It said, lean left, lean right, as long as you lean in. And I thought, lean left, lean right, as long as you lean in? Lean in? And immediately I was taken back to an old memory. And one summer I used to live in Uganda, and when I was there, I visited a coworker who lived in a village in the mountains. So we drove all the way across the city, or across the country, and we went to the mountains to visit her village. It was a beautiful village, big trees, and there's a small dirt road that takes you down deep into the small village. 5 houses on the left, 5 houses on the right, a small dirt patch for soccer, a lake on the side. And we pulled up and we went to the right, there was a small red house. And I spent that weekend there trying to live in the same way that they chose to live, really close to the land. They would grow their food, and one day we had to go and get water. And there were 2 kilometers to get to this well of water where they grabbed their water, and there was mud in between. And I'm a Canadian, and we're Canadians, we have our big hiking boots, and I had 6 layers, and I'm getting ready to go, and he's wearing flip-flops. My friend, a 17-year-old, her younger brother was there with us, and he's like, are you ready? I'm like, yep. So we both get these wood sticks, and there's buckets on the sides. So we're going, and as soon as I stepped in the mud, and these boots are, like glue. I felt like, what is it, Mission Impossible on the side of the road thing, sticking, trying to get through. And again, my mind's going, and I'm like, oh my God, why did I choose this? I could have separated the beans for lunch. Why did I come for this? You know? And then we fill the water, and then I turn around, and again, now water is pretty heavy. So I'm heavier, and I'm even more. I'm like, I could have came to the Bahamas for this trip. Why did I choose to come down here? And as soon as I'm in my mind for like 20 minutes, I have no idea what's happening. I'm all here. And immediately, I get drawn back because I hear a and I look up, and I see that the boy who was with me had stepped, and there was one area where the water was deeper in the mud. And he stepped, and he sunk in, and the water came up, and he was at least waist deep into the water. And at this moment, my mind is like, oh my God, what are we going to do? I don't know where the hospital is. I don't know what we're going to do. What if he gets stuck? What if he drowns? I can't do anything. I'm the visitor. He's got to take care of me. And he's stuck in the water. And I'm freaking out. And I'm thinking. And I look up at him, and he laughs. He goes, huh? And I look at him, and he looks at the situation. And he looks around, and he looks at me. And then he looks at me like this, and then he goes like that. And the water starts swooshing around him. And then I'm like, huh? And he goes, you want to hear something funny? What this situation kind of feels like? And I'm like, what? And then he slaps the mud beside him. And I don't know if you've ever slapped wet mud, but it makes a funny sound. Kind of sounds like this. And he's looking at me, he goes, and the water comes up, and he sits his head back, and he starts laughing. And then I came, and I sat down, and I put my buckets down, and I sat on the ground, and we laughed together for a few minutes. And immediately, the moment was shifted. Later that night, we finished our walk, and we came back. Later that night, we're in his hut. It's evening now, and the candles were lit. We were sitting in the corner on his bed, and he asked me, poor him, he goes, how was your day? And I'm sitting there with my feet, massaging my feet. And I go, well, it's kind of annoying. I mean, like, it's really annoying that my boots are all muddy now. And he's sitting there, you know, and he's looking at me, and he goes, yeah, that could be true. And I go, I'm complaining here, buddy. Come on, you know. And then I stop, and I'm like, and my body's all sore. Tomorrow's going to really suck. I'm not going to be able to enjoy the day. My body's sore. And again, yeah, that could be true. And you know, when you're kind of mad, you're like, be mad, come on. You know, and I took it, and I'm like, what do you mean it could be true? My boots are wet, and my bad body is sore. What do you mean it could be true? And then he leans to the right, and the candle kind of casted the shadow in his face. And he looks at me like he's looking at a child, and he's like 15. I was like 21. And he's looking at me, and he smiles, and he goes, it's true that your boots got muddy, and it's also true that your body is sore. But it could be true that it's annoying. And it could be true that tomorrow is going to suck. And he leans back, and he goes, you can't change what has happened, nor can you necessarily know for sure what's going to happen. And oftentimes, you're kind of stuck in the mud about a situation. You can't change that. But what you can change is what that situation means. All that matters is what that situation means. And he said, tomorrow, I'm going to give you some flip-flops, and you can try them, and stop wearing those brick-for shoes that you were wearing yesterday. And tomorrow, we're going to go, and I'm going to take you around the city and see what it can feel like with this new feeling in your body. See if you can find a new way of enjoying the day than you thought you could. Takes the candle, lights it out, darkness, nighttime. Wake up the next morning. It's kind of fun. So we got up, and I jump out of bed. I'm like, oh my God, my body is sore. So I go outside, and we go to the lake, and we go for a swim, and he dives in, and I follow him quickly after. And we dive in the water, and as soon as the water touched my skin, it was cool, and it was crisp. And as soon as I started swimming, I was using my muscles. And because of the fact that my muscles were sore, I could feel it even more. And I could feel every motion more sensitively. My calves stretching, my body flexing. And I was not even thinking, we're swimming, and I say out loud to him, I go, man, I'm kind of glad my body's sore, because I can really feel the water even more right now. And then I realized what I just said. And I realized what he had said to me yesterday. See if there's a new way you can enjoy the day tomorrow than you thought you would have. And I look at him, and he smiles at me again. And he goes, you like that, eh? And I goes, yeah. And he goes, okay, cool. And then he's like this, so he grabs some water in his mouth and spits it in my face, and he goes, how about that? And then he swims away. And then, boom, I'm back in the moment. I'm on my bicycle. My body is cleansed. My hair covering my face. And I thought, lean in. And so I took a deep breath, pushed my hair back out of my face, and I took one big push on my pedal, and I felt my muscle contract and expand, and the next one, and the next one, and then rain started to fall, and I was wearing my roll my sleeves up, and I felt each raindrop on my skin, and it felt like an electric kiss asking me to feel it a little bit more. And with each movement, I was completely engrossed in what I was feeling, and I biked the whole half of the way thoughtlessly. There wasn't a single thought about what was going on, how I was being perceived, what it meant about who I was. In that moment, I was completely present. One thought arose when I came to my house. I thought, you probably look kind of silly, biking around like this, going home, And as soon as that thought came up, immediately my mind thought, yeah, it could mean that. That's true. But it's also possible that I could have inspired someone to dance in the rain today. And then I let the thought go on, and I brought back to the wonderland that was my feelings in that moment. And this birthed the two practices that I want to share with you. Not that. The two Go team! Oh, no, I don't know. The two practices that I want to share with you guys today. And these two practices are the two practices that I've used to be able to find joy in pretty much every moment. The first one is called versatile joy, and it's a practice for the body. The second one is called reality crafting, and it's a practice of the mind. And these are the two ways that you can find joy. So really, really take a look. Versatile joy, meaning finding joy in a way, and without the exact definition. Imagine finding joy in a diverse amount of situations and circumstances. The consistent practice, everything is only real if you practice it consistently, of embracing, leaning into, and then playing with the diverse sensations present in each moment. Each moment. Look around. You're feeling something. You're seeing something. You're smelling something. You're hearing a whole lot of something. And all the time, you have diverse sensations around you, not just in your body, but in all of your senses. If you're able to diversely lean into and embrace those sensations, and maybe even play with the way they are, you'll find that they'll make you much more present, and it can be very, very joyful. That's with the body, with the mind. Reality crafting is the consistent practice of intentionally choosing to create the most constructive possible meaning out of every thought or situation. You can't choose what happens. You're here and you're experiencing things. But what you can choose is what it means about what it happens. And that could be a thought that you have about yourself, how capable you are. Or maybe a situation, someone mistreats you. And you can see that, yes, your mind will come, like our friend said, to a conclusion based off of what you've seen and what you've known. But you know that there's so many possibilities of what something could mean. And so I invite you to take the chance when that happens to think, well, that could be true, but what else could this mean that could be equally possible, but more constructive? So I challenge you for the next 7 days, and even before I say this, when you start doing these practices, the thing that you'll find is that when you're leaning into your senses, your sight, your touch, your smell, your taste, you'll find that you playfully feel them, you will be grounded in the moment. How else can you experience the moment except through your senses? And so when you think of mindful, I think of senseful. Be with your senses and really feel them. And that will ground you in the moment. And what happens is when you're present in the moment is your mind naturally quiets. You don't have to do anything. Meditation has been talking about this for a long time. And when your mind quiets, you have less thoughts. And when a thought does arise, intentionally know that this is one possible way of seeing this thing and constructively create a possibility of a new meaning for what it could be. I challenge you guys for the next 7 days to tell someone a thought that arose that had an unconstructive meaning of a situation or a thought, and then share another possible meaning that could be more constructive and is also possible. Every thought, hundreds of these happen a day in your mind. Try to pick one and share it with someone. Invite them to see what they can see this practice as well, and make it real within yourself. It could be about yourself, others, or situation. It's infinite. The more you do it, the easier it gets. Versatile joy at least once a day for the next 7 days. And honestly, I'm doing this all the time. I'm literally doing this right now. Embrace and lean into a bodily sensation. Something you can see, something you can smell. There's all these different colors on the walls, different shadings, different textures. A flavor you normally wouldn't notice. Specifically, make all of these things, pay attention to something you normally wouldn't notice, or something that you think you couldn't enjoy. What's something you think you couldn't enjoy? Try paying attention to its sensation. And as you pay attention to this sensation, without saying, is it good or bad, you can find it's very, very interesting. And that's a really joyful way to live. So if you can practice this, I think, and I have a vision now, the vision that I want to share with you is I think if every person on the planet could practice this, that we could find solution to all of the world's problems. I feel like we know what we need to do in the world. We know the ways we need to live. We know we need to be vegetarian because the natural disasters, the animals. We know that this is the right thing. We know that treating people as well is the right thing. But why can't we do it? A lot of the times we feel like, I know I should, but I can't. And I think the reason is because we're afraid that our joy would be at stake. We're afraid that we wouldn't be able to find as much joy in the alternative as we have now. And this is because we have a weak ability to find joy in a versatile way. And this is a strength you can practice. So in order to conclude this, I'm going to ask you, cue the music very soon, to close your eyes. Sit up in your chair nice. Get comfortable. Breathe in. Hold it. Breathe out. Breathe in more slowly. Hold it. Breathe out. Breathe in even more slowly. Hold it. Breathe out. Breathe in slowly. Hold it and notice the sensations of your back on the chair. Breathe out without awareness. Breathe in slowly. Hold it and bring awareness to all the sensations in your body right now. Hold it and breathe out slowly. Breathe in slowly. Hold it and bring a slight smile to your face for the ability to feel. Breathe out slowly and curiously. Breathe in slowly. Hold it. Breathe out. Breathe in slowly. Hold it and imagine that you're a child who's experiencing sensation for the first time. And breathe out. Breathe in. Hold it. Breathe out. Open your eyes and let your breath naturally fall and rise as it will. Every single moment there's joy. Every single moment you have what you have right now to experience those infinite sensations. Be with the present moment. Feel it. Enjoy it. Play with it. And when a thought does arise, know that it's one option, one possibility. And take the time to think, well, what's another possibility that could equally be true, that's more constructive? And make yourself become the person that is able to experience joy all the time. And become the person that the world needs you to be. Keep playing. Thank you.